Hello, this is Michelle, and I am going to film a little flip through of the passport journal that I made in Orly Avineri's class last summer. It was a 4-day class. It was amazing. Kind of has changed the way I prefer to journal now, just because of the different techniques that we learned in her class. So I'm going to do a little flip through and hope you can find some inspiration here. So the book that we used was a passport, and this was an old Greek passport. It didn't have any emotional or any attachment to it before, but now having decided to do the journal with the theme of my mom, this is a very, very precious and special journal. The words that are in here, when my mom died, I asked everybody in the family to please come up with a word that represented how their relationship, what they thought of my mom, their grandmother, their great-grandmother, their friend. So it was a lot of different people in the room. And I knew I wanted to use the words in the journal, but it wasn't until I decided to actually put the person's name that said the word, then it became very emotional, because then that really represented the relationship, the relationship that my mom had with all those different people. So Orly provided a lot of the materials. We brought our own. We rust and tea stained a lot of the papers that you'll see in here. I brought my own transfers because I knew I wanted to incorporate some pictures of my mom. These pages with this blue background, these are the original pages in the journal, and it was just absolutely stunning, so I left as much of it as I could just so I could see that. So for the words and the name, I just made these little random pockets just out of whatever, very, very raw and rough. I used staples, lots of masking tape, and here's just a little piece of an old certificate that I glued down and left enough room to make a pocket. So I used a lot of tape, brought lots of envelopes to incorporate the words. Here's a result from a rust piece that was left on the paper. Fantastic, fantastic. Orly is amazing. So Allison's word. So I used, like I said, I brought pictures of my mom. These are just packing tape transfers that I used. I love that look. And then I also incorporated just some random pictures, just because I like to do that kind of stuff. So here's a little envelope. And here is Dimitri, who is the original owner of this passport. So kind of wanted to leave his picture. That made it a little bit more meaningful and romantic. And here's a little flip out. So I incorporated or used the original pages, added more pages, lots of sub-pages. You can see here's some awesome black tape that I use, and just rough regular masking tape. And here is a transfer of my mom, lots of maps. And since I knew I was going to do this about my mom, I was prepared and brought some pictures. You can see how fragile this thing is. It keeps tearing. This was a piece of ephemera. I think I changed subjects there, but this is a piece of ephemera I found while we were out walking around looking for stuff to add to the journals. And so I went through the tea bath. I was going to say, since I knew I was going to do this about my mom, I brought things that I knew would remind me of her. Like, she did a lot of sewing when we were little. She sewed a lot of our clothes. So I had that little pattern. And you can see how these things are just kind of, they're given away a little bit, but that adds to it. I like how fragile this book is, and it's a very tender, special book, so the fact that it's fragile like that just kind of it works. So she left iced tea. Silly things. envelope that was tea stained. It came out amazing. And we did a lot of camping when I was little, so one of our trips we went to Yellowstone, so I found a beautiful picture to incorporate. And Orly provided us with some material. Here's some amazing silk that went through the tea bath and came out incredible. You can see in through here just little snippets and pieces of random papers, and that's why I have a problem that I absolutely can't throw anything away, because I might need just that small little piece of paper just for some little interest. Oh, my mom was a very good driver. She didn't get her driver's license till she was about 40. When she divorced her second husband and needed to go out and get a job. Lots of cool pictures. It's a little page that's trying to make a break for it. It's just gonna, I don't think I'm even gonna repair this because I love that element, that it's something loose, so I know I can't just be rough with this journal. I have to always treat it with tenderness. And then since this is a Greek journal, and one of the shopping trips that I went with a few of the gals during the class, I found a book with a Greek shipping vessel in it. So I thought that was very fortuitous. So I wanted to include that. Let's forget Mama. Beautiful. It's more sewing. She was from Cincinnati, Ohio, so anything this ephemera that I had that said Cincinnati or Ohio or that area, I use. And there I just left the whole page just blank because I like that. Some texture. And oops, this one's leaving. She loved roses, so there's elements of roses in here. Still. And this page flips up. So I might go back and add some more at some point, but for now I'm fine with it being, there's that more Cincinnati. So when I make journals, and I know I'm going to spend some time in it, I will go through my ephemera and take the time to pull out what could possibly be meaningful and go into that book. So I have a nice selection to go through, so I can come up with it usually. I just love those letters. So this one is officially making a break for it. See how it just, I don't know if it pulled it out or if it just fell out, but it's going to stay there. Look at that. The picture. I'm really lucky. I have a couple old photo booth pictures of my mom, and this is a packing tape transfer. But I love being able to incorporate that into my journals. Get to the end. That piece of fabric. And then this was the original back of this passport, which I just went nuts for, so of course I left it. And I just love that raw kind of saturated look. I just love this view, and then I love that view. That's my passport journal. Thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll see you on the interwebs.